I don't have anything to add to that. That was fantastic.
Was there someone over there with a hand up before? No, okay. Go.
Sorry to keep speaking. I was wondering also, what has been the cost to the school or the student union of your occupations? Who is fielding that cost? And what would you say to perhaps some students who don't feel they should be paying for your occupation if it is coming out of sort of students' tuition fees money and things like that?
I'm sure that tuition fee money wouldn't go towards this, and quite frankly, I don't know what the costs are associated with the LSE occupation. I'm sure that they're not large.
Yeah, I've heard figures of sort of tens of thousands of pounds for the LSE occupation.
Right, well those figures are, I've heard these figures too, and I really don't know where they got them from because we have had no such communication from the school.
I'm going to say I hope they spent thousands and millions of pounds on our occupations, because I'm not going to pay £9,000 to study here so that they can have an arms deal with companies. I'm not going to pay that money so that millions go into security guards and policemen, like our demonstrations here in London, where they've been paying billions of dollars every day to bring the policemen to stop our demonstrations. I hope they pay thousands and millions of dollars for our occupations. That's what I want.
We at King's, we haven't had any information as to the cost. With regards to security, we've made it very clear, and as you can see, this is a peaceful protest. We're quite happy to do our own security, as you can imagine. I completely agree that the more money that is spent here, in a way, it will further our cause, because they will really start listening when they feel, the pressure, financial pressure maybe as well. So, but I couldn't give you a figure because we're not aware.
That's probably a question for the administration. Yes, gentleman at the back.
Well, I mean, I suppose the point as much of a question follows on from what you were saying, but I'd be interested to know what the cost was of bestowing an honorary doctorate on Shimon Peres, and is this not a part of that cost?
That's a very good point. I have absolutely no idea. We don't know. We're, as I said, we're in negotiations. We'll try to get as much information as we can. But,
okay, was there a question? Yeah.
Well, do you think this is a return to the kind of student activism you saw 30 years ago, swiping all across Europe, Mexico, the States?
I hope so.
I've had a lot of messages from, people that are in their 60s today or in the 70s, and that told me, wow, that's amazing. I used to do that when I was 17 at university during the 70s. I think it's different, though. I mean, we're in a different time. I don't think we should, the means are not the same. The world is not the same today, and I think it's wrong to say it's the same thing, because our politics are not the same. Right wing and left wing don't mean the same thing today that they meant in 1968, for example. But yes, it is in a way very symbolic of what happened in 1968 during the Vietnam War and what happened during apartheid. I think it's symbolic, but it's not the same thing. I don't think so. No, we use different channels and different means of doing this.
I think what's important to remember is that in recent years, maybe the student body could have been accused of being quite apathetic. But this movement, I think it kind of proves that we are engaged politically, and I don't mean that in the sense of necessarily institutionalized politics. Like in French you have le politique, la politique, they're two different things. I mean in the sense of politics as everyday politics. People are becoming aware, and I think that's very important because this is the world we live in.
Yeah, I think people are starting to realise to stop being apathetic. It's a new generation that really happened. We've grown up around 9/11, the Iraq War, the anti-war movement. It's a new movement, and now we're starting the movement for Palestine.
Okay, are there any further questions?
It's not really a question. It's just I just wanted to say something. I'm from Sussex University. I'm with Bushra too, and I was in Palestine while this attack, this mass murder started on Gaza. And I'm an Arab Israeli citizen, and I live just 30 kilometers from Gaza, and I could hear every bomb that fell on Gaza when I was there. And I just wanted to thank everybody in the names, like in my name, for helping Palestinians and being next to us and supporting us. And I have been in contact with people in Gaza and in the West Bank, and they are saluting us for doing this. And so many people have said that their aim now is to stand up and to resist for us, not for them anymore. It's to keep us going and going and going and going. So I think they owe us something. I think we owe them much more. And I salute to everybody who has been part of this movement, this great movement, and it should just continue on and on and on. Thank you.
Just lastly, a lot of people I've spoken to have perhaps become a bit confused, not because they don't support what you're doing, but purely because they wonder, firstly, why only support Gaza? Why not support the terrible atrocities in Tibet? Why not support and campaign and occupy over Mugabe and Zimbabwe? There are so many atrocities in the world. Admittedly, there's only so many hours in the day. Everyone has to kind of campaign for their own thing and so on. But why have you chosen to occupy for Gaza? Why have you chosen to protest so heavily at this time? Obviously, you know, it's very in the media spectacle and so on. But I mean, have you got any plans afterwards? Say your demands are met, to then go and campaign for Tibetan sort of independence, liberation, and so on, or?
Well, I've certainly been involved in movements for Tibet. I've been involved in protests against Darfur, against Mugabe, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but many people who ask me this question, why didn't you campaign on these and these and these issues? They're not asking me this question because they want me to go and campaign on everything. They ask me this question because they want me to stop campaigning for Gaza, and that's what they really have a problem with. But I would not stop campaigning for Gaza.
Well, I'm going to say, as a Palestinian, I can't fight everyone's cause. I'm going to fight the Palestinian cause. But also, I'm in Britain, and who I think is most responsible for what is happening in the Middle East today is Britain and British people. Well, not the British people, obviously, but, you know, who was involved in this occupation, the colonization of the Middle East, and the partition of the Middle East is mainly Britain. So I think that's why also people should feel very, you know, responsible and should feel solidarity, because it's part of your history.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Let's not forget that it was the British mandate that kind of was the major role in all of this. And with regards to Tibet and Zimbabwe, yes, they are tragedies, and maybe once Palestine is free, we can move on.